Hello students, today we are going to discuss your worksheet number 32, class 10th English medium for the date 16th September. So let's start the worksheet. In this worksheet we are starting a new chapter from your chemistry, that is metals and non-metal, NCERT chapter 3rd. Now this metals and non-metals physical property you have studied in the class 8th also. These are very simple properties and generally a direct question comes in the exam about the physical property. So let's start the lesson. Elements can be classified as metals and non-metal on the basis of their properties. We are classifying this on the basis of properties. Examples of metals are iron, aluminium, silver, copper, etc. And examples of non-metal are hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur and oxygen. So let's start the properties. First is luster. That means shining surface. So the metals have shining surface while the non-metal do not have shining surface except iodine. This you have to remember, the exception in this. All the properties you have to remember the exceptions because generally questions are asked on the basis of exception. Second is hardness. The metals are very hard except the sodium, lithium and potassium, which are soft that can be cut with the knife. They are so soft that can be cut with the knife, while the non-metals are soft generally except the diamond and allotrope of carbon. कार्बन का जो allotrope है डायमंड, उसको छोड़कर बाकी सभी जो है they are soft. State, when we say state, exist in the solid state except mercury, which is liquid at room temperature, while in case of non-metal they are generally the solid or gases except the bromine. This question comes, name and one metal and non-metal which are liquid, so you have to write mercury and the bromine. When we talk of malleability, metals can be beaten into thin sheets. उनको जो है जब हम थोड़ा मारेंगे तो उसको पतली चादरों में बदल सकते हैं. Non-metals are non-malleable. That means when you hammer them they will break down instead of converting to the thin sheet. Ductility का मतलब होता है if you extend them, if you apply some force on them they will be converted to thin wires, that is ductile nature, but non-metals are not like so. Conductor of heat and electricity, they are generally good conductor of heat and electricity except lead and mercury. Metals are good conductor of heat and electricity, while non-metals are generally poor conductor of heat and electricity except graphite, which is good conductor. Density, that means the mass upon volume ratio, generally have high density and high melting point except sodium and potassium, and non-metals generally have low density and low melting point. Sonorous, when they are beaten they produce sound, so metals produce a sound on striking a hard surface, that means sonorous. These are non-sonorous. Now see these figures, these are showing the conduction of the electricity. Insert a sample to be tested. We have arranged a apparatus. Any sample which you want to test whether it is a good conductor or bad conductor, we can place that sample whether it is a metal or a non-metal, and if this bulb glow it will show that the particular thing is a good conductor. If this bulb doesn't glow on switching on, that means the particular thing is bad conductor. When we say action of steam on metals, this is the apparatus which is shown. That means metals generally react with the water or steam and the hydrogen gas is given out. So this we'll see in the chemical reaction part on the next slides. Next is the chemical properties of metals. When we say chemical properties, reaction of metal with air. So one thing you have to remember, whenever metal reaction with air we are saying, actually we are talking of oxygen, okay, and this oxygen reacting with metal to form metal oxide, like copper reacting with oxygen to give you copper oxide, aluminium reacting with oxygen to aluminium oxide. Different metals, they show different reactivity, and the most reactive of these are the sodium and potassium. They are so reactive that if they are kept outside the kerosene oil they catches fire because they react vigorously. That's why they have to be kept in the kerosene oil. Then the magnesium, aluminium, zinc and lead, they slowly reacts with the air, and these elements are covered with a thin layer of oxide. Outside layer of these elements reacts. You must be remember in the first chapter, before burning of magnesium ribbon we used to rub with the sandpaper because magnesium ribbon was having the layer of magnesium oxide. Iron does not burn on heating, but iron fillings burn vigorously. So direct iron doesn't burn, but the small pieces of iron that is on iron fillings they burn. Copper does not burn, but it is coated with black copper oxide. So when the copper is contacted with the oxygen and burned, it doesn't burn, but a black copper oxide coating forms, and the silver and gold, they do not react with oxygen. So you have to remember all these properties, these are very important. Next is reaction of metals with water. So when metal react with water, first the metal oxide is formed plus hydrogen is formed. Now this metal oxide formation will again react with water to give you metal hydroxide. So what you can say, that metal oxides are basic in nature, okay, because they are giving you metal hydroxide. So metal like aluminium, iron and zinc, they react with the steam only, and metals like sodium, potassium and calcium, they can even react with the cold water, and reaction with hot water magnesium, and no reaction with water is lead, copper, iron and gold. Now the most important is this one, calcium and magnesium float on reacting with water. Why it is so? Because when this calcium and magnesium are reacting, a gas which is known as hydrogen is released, and these hydrogen bubbles, like if this is the vessel in which we are reacting this calcium and this is calcium part, so this hydrogen gas bubbles go stick near this calcium, and they keep on sticking on this calcium, and when the number of hydrogen bubbles increases, they bring this calcium upwards. So that's why this calcium and magnesium float, and this hydrogen bubbles bring this calcium and magnesium on the upper surface of the water. And these are the reaction which you have to remember: sodium reacting with water giving sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. This is an exothermic reaction, heat is also given out. Magnesium and water, magnesium hydroxide, and aluminium and water, aluminium oxide. Okay, so there is a difference in this, you have to remember aluminium oxide is formed, not hydroxide. Next is amphoteric oxides. Amphoteric oxides, metal oxides which react with both acids as well as bases to produce salt and water, are called amphoteric oxides. That means the oxides which can react with both acid as well as bases to produce salt and water. Okay, means if the strong acid is there, they will behave like a base, and if strong base is there, they will behave like an acid. So the two examples of the amphoteric oxides are zinc and aluminium oxide. You have to remember at least one equation of the particular amphoteric oxide with either of the acid and base, like the aluminium oxide reacting with HCl giving you aluminium chloride plus water, and aluminium oxide reacting with hydroxide to give you sodium aluminate plus water. Now let's see the question answers. Name a metal which is liquid at room temperature. It is mercury. Explain the meaning of malleable and ductile. Malleability, metals can be beaten into thin sheet. Ductility, metals can be drawn into thin wires. Why are sodium and potassium stored under oil? Sodium and potassium react so vigorously that they catch fire if kept in open, so they are kept immersed in kerosene oil. And what are amphoteric oxides? Give two example. Amphoteric oxides, metal which react with both acid as well as bases to produce salt and water, are called amphoteric oxides. Example, zinc and aluminium, you remember. Okay, so this completes your worksheet. Hope you liked it. Thanks for watching. Do like, share and comment.